and welcome again to Wake Up and Live with the Arts. And again, I'm Sue Johnson, your host for this edition here at the beautiful Caramoo House in Cleveland, Ohio, along with our videographer James McGilbray and our editor Lester H. Bryant Sr., where we are going to continue a wonderful conversation with our guests, Ade Borishade, and a beautiful young Cleveland Institute of Art student, Sierra Weissmiller, who we've met and heard about her creativity. And what we're going to do now with Ade, who is an unbelievable scholar, researcher, educator, artist. I mean, you name it, and she is that Renaissance woman. So what we're going to find out now about her studies in African history and about particularly what is called the mitochondrial Eve, a very special woman that Ade has studied and researched. And she's going to tell us about a wonderful mural that she has designed, created, made, and is now demonstrating it to the public so that the whole world can begin to learn about mitochondrial Eve. So welcome, Ade, to the show, and tell us a little bit about that wonderful mural of yours, Mitochondrial Eve.
Yes, the name Mitochondrial Eve was worldwide scientists around 2007 or a little later, after they had conducted this worldwide DNA research. And it's a special type of DNA. It's mtDNA. So mtDNA is different from nuclear DNA that everyone is familiar with, the double helix thing. What happened was National Geographic in 2005 conducted a study whereby they wanted to trace the migration routes of humanity all the way back from the very beginning. And here I've noted it on the mural with Homo sapiens sapiens. That's doubly wise man. So it isn't just Homo sapien. The Africans developed to that level where they developed beyond Homo sapien, which is thinking man, to Homo sapiens sapiens, doubly wise man. Anyway, 200,000 BC, at that time, Africans had already filled up Africa, and there were no other Homo sapiens sapiens, modern human beings. There weren't any more anywhere else in the world. Around 140,000 BC, one group migrated out of Sudan and began to venture forth into the rest of the world. And everywhere they stopped and settled, they created a new civilization, new races, and all of that developed. So that's what this mural is about. National Geographic, in tracing modern day human beings, right? About 100 institutions of higher learning were used, and thousands and thousands of other people were involved. My own DNA was involved in that study. Well, what they discovered was, as they traced humanity back and back and back and back and back, the closer they came to 200,000 BC, they discovered that the mtDNA that is passed through females from mother to her daughters. mtDNA is also passed to males, to the sons, but males can't pass it on. So through mtDNA, that's how they were able to trace all of humanity back to just one woman. And when you think about the biblical story of Eve, and Eve actually means mother of humanity. So they named this one woman, whom we will never know, they named her mitochondrial Eve. And I'm just reflecting these days on how long I've been doing this research and how it has ended up as in this mural, because this concept came into my head, took residency, and I couldn't evict it. So one day we have an art room in my building, senior citizen building, and on the day that I had done the sketch, one of the faculty members, I think she's one of the anthropology professors, she was visiting and she saw the sketch and became all excited and said, "You really need to develop this." So that's how I started. 9 months ago. And I never did art before. So this is, I can't really claim much credit for it, because for me, this was spiritually motivated and spiritually guided. I didn't know how I would get this done. I had no experience in techniques. All I knew was I have to tell this scientific and historical story in this art piece. And that's what this is. That's how it came about.
There is so much knowledge and information and creativity in that story. Come and join us again. We can continue the discussion. Along with the beautiful mural that Dr. Boda-Sade has created, she has a number of printed materials to go along to help tell her story that's full of research about the African story, the history. So one of the materials is called African Family, Legacy Millenniums Before Slavery, because believe it or not, there was a time before slavery.
Yes.
And this one is tracing Tinsley family mtDNA 140,000 BCE to 1800 CE by Dr. Boda-Sade, excuse me. So it's about African history that would interest you. She has some other materials. This one is called Created in God's Image that she wrote as well. And it's a booklet for awakenings featuring African pre-slavery contributions to humanity and civilization. And there's a lot of information in this book. A couple of examples. Africans were chosen by God to be among the first to create the New Testament. Africans were the first to excel in giant monuments, masonry, and architecture. Therefore, they were chosen by God as the first and greatest stonemasons. Africans were the originators of astronomy and numerology. Therefore, they were chosen by God as the first astronomers and numerologists. There were many, many things that Africans were noted for, and this being Black History Month, we should know about these things not only in February, but throughout the year, throughout the decades. It shouldn't be just limited. And many of you know Imhotep, and this is called Ancient African Prophecy of Imhotep, and this booklet accompanies the stage play, again written by Dr. Boda-Sade. So I'm telling you, you need to connect with Ade Boda-Sade. That rhymes, Ade Boda-Sade. That's, and offer to have her come and lecture to your group, your class, your session, your audience, whoever, because she is a fount of wonderful, scholarly, historical information about the African history. And to have Sierra Weissmuller join her to talk about the sculpture and telling the story of how she created this wonderful hand piece showing about the creativity of the universe through this mother of the creative mother of the universe, Dr. Sade.
Bori Sade.
I had
It's
to
okay.
do it. I had to, not the singer. Though you do sing too, you
No.
probably do.
No.
Okay. What's the best contact to reach you?
Yes, 216-471-8811.
Is there an email address? And we'll have it on the
Yes.
screen.
Yes, it's my last name, Bori Sade. That's BORISHADE, Bori Sade, at gmail.com.
And I keep calling you Ade, which is a shortened version
Yes.
of your complete first name, which is
Adetokunbo.
Ade Tunkobo.
Adetokunbo.
Yeah, that's what you say.
A very common Nigerian name.
Oh, so that's Nigeria, and you spent
Yes.
12 years in Liberia.
Yes.
You're a woman of the African world. You got me all twisted.
Well, after I did my PhD with this focus on philosophy, religion, and culture of African people, I had learned up to that point, I had learned everything from books. You cannot learn culture from a book. So I put my PhD behind me, as I should have. And I dressed in all white. And I went to the village in the holy city of Ile-Ife, and got on my hands and knees and asked these wonderful 7 priests, 5 males, 2 females. And I asked, I was really begging, Mother, Father, please teach me. I need to know who I am and who our people are. I've been taught about everyone else in the world, but now I have come to know about myself. Please teach me. And they surprised me. They said, when I got there, they said, oh, our daughter has arrived. And they said that they had prayed up on my coming and who I was and what my intentions were and the spiritual message that they received from the higher forces was, this is your daughter who is returning home. That's my name.
Mm-hmm.
They gave it to me. Teach her everything she wants to know and more.
And so it was.
And so it was.
So it was.
And I was actually afraid of that name. But after staying there for 2 months, coming home, I couldn't afford to stay any longer.
Mm-hmm.
But they were so generous that, they have highly educated traditional priests who travel the world. And they instructed those priests, when you go to the United States, contact our daughter. And if possible, spend as much time with her to teach her before you come back to Nigeria. So the teaching went on and on.
and it shall continue as well. Yeah.
By the grace of God.
By the grace of God. Now, before Sierra, before I ask you how to contact you, in case you can come with a day to do lectures, I just forgot what I was going to ask her. Oh, do Africans call the higher power God, or do they have a different name for this highest power?
Well, as you go from region to region, from ethnic group to ethnic group,
Mm-hmm.
the name of God may be different, but there is only one
Of course. Well, that's
African religion,
Mm-hmm.
and there is only one God.
Right.
So, among the Yoruba, the name of God is Olodumare.
Which is the same as God in
Yes.
plain English.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. The one creator God. There is only one.
Okay.
Mhm.
And there's only one Sierra Weiss Miller as well.
Yes.
So if you're able to come and lecture on art and about your contribution to a day's projects, how can folks connect with you?
Well, they could use my school email. I'm on there every single day since I do get updates pretty frequently from my school. My school email is CEWEISSMILLER@student.cia.edu.
And that too will be on the screen. You know how these college email addresses
Yes.
are. you know.
Yes.
So we would look forward. We hope that you two could travel as a team as much as possible.
Wow. So you're launching a new career now.
I actually never thought of that.
Yeah, well, you do very well, and you can bring like the little globe you made. You said your glass piece.
Yes.
You could bring that to show what you've done in that realm as well, to show your versatility, because my Lord, we've talked about 4 or 5 or 12 things that she's done, so certainly your versatility can be showcased out here to the world, and including your mural, which requires a great deal more in-depth discussion
Yes.
about how the mitochondrial Eve, how she spread her genetic structure
Yes.
across the world,
The fascinating thing about doing that mtDNA research is this. The mural represents the worldwide human picture.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't just African history and development, but it's human development as
Yes.
well. It tells that story. But when I was doing the one on my individual family, I was shocked to learn as I began to do the research on each place they would settle, whether it was 75,000 BCE or 90,000 BC or whatever. There are several cultures throughout Asia where even today those cultures have annual celebrations. In 2020, annual celebrations commemorating the African people who started their civilization. And you see, this is why and how other people of the world know more about our history than we do. We were written out of history.
Oh, amen.
Intentionally.
Hallelujah. Yes, yes,
But
yes.
whose responsibility is it
Mhm.
to write us back into history? It is Africans' responsibility. We cannot expect the enslavers who wrote us out of history to liberate us and write us back in.
Right.
That's our responsibility. And that's my responsibility. On earth, that's my destiny. To
Good.
do my part, writing us back into history, and I will be doing that until they put me underground.
And on that note, whew, that takes a lot out of you, because that is amazing, awesome, wonderful to have that kind of mission and know what our mission and purpose is in life. And this lady, I mean, she's not 29 anymore, so she has to live at least another 113 years. And she is such an inspiration. Her mural, her writings, that some of you will recognize the name Seco. Her whole name is Synethia Salinas. Some of you may recognize her name from the Hue people. Mm-hmm. She has written a music piece called Mitochondrial Eve, because she was inspired by the mural. So there is so much growth and inspiration and talent coming out of Dr. Sade. I did it again.
It's okay.
I'm going to keep doing it probably, because my brain just refuses to cooperate. So Dr. Boda Sade's work, and it is not just for African Americans, as she said. This is knowledge that people of all cultures and colors and ethnicities and religious persuasions and spiritual persuasions, we all need to know this is history, because history gets buried. History obviously has been hidden. There's no question about that. We're not going to talk about it, but look at all the information that's been hidden from the Bible that people subscribe to. So, she is helping to bring knowledge to the world. And on that note, we thank Dr. Boda Sade and Sierra, an amazing new young talent, for joining us this evening for Wake Up and Live with the Arts. And be sure, while they giggle away, to wake up and live with the arts every day and learn. Seek knowledge. See you next time.